Hi everyone, I hope everyone's doing okay and trying to stay on top of their work, staying safe. My project is about the El Salvador immigration to the United States, specifically DC, in the neighborhood of Columbia Heights. And I chose this topic because it is a topic that is close to me, close to my family, close to my community. It's something I'm passionate about, and I feel like it also does not have enough attention, and that is partially why I chose the topic. Initially, I was going to do 3 stories about 3 different people in different times that they immigrated here, but due to the change of the syllabus and current situation, I chose 2 people instead of 3. Their stories are in first person. I have removed myself from the story in order to highlight their story and not focus on me at all. And for the first story, her name is Maria. She was 20 years old when she immigrated from El Salvador to the United States, and she left behind 2 small children, and it was a constant source of motivation for her to get to this country and be where she is now. And I highlight some of the challenges that she faced coming here. She had to walk, run, swim to cross the border to the United States. That is a struggle, sacrifices that immigrants make when they come to this country, and I highlight that in the story. I talk about her experience merging into the community, into Columbia Heights. Some of the challenges that she faced was lack of representation. For example, like if she were to go to the clinic, there wouldn't be anybody that can speak Spanish, and she now speaks English and is pretty fluent in the language. However, she talked about how that was a challenge back then, and the services available now were not available back then, and that was a daily struggle for her. There was also lack of representation in the community. The community is predominantly Black / African American. That's the heaviest population in Columbia Heights, and although there's still a heavy population of Latino immigrants and specifically El Salvador immigrants, she still felt like there wasn't enough representation and activism for Latino and Hispanics. And that is something that she said was a challenge for her. And I talk about that in her story. All of the sacrifices and struggles that she faced getting here and being in the community are highlighted, and the purpose of that is to show how difficult it can be to come to a whole different place, whole different setting that you know nothing about, with practically nothing, and having to start from zero, all because you just really want a better future for your kids. For my second story, her name is Carmen. She came here a little later, and she actually came to the United States during 9/11. And so, as you can imagine, it was pretty chaotic, and as most people know, the security of the country became far more extensive and taken way more serious to where we are now. And it was difficult for her because She got caught once and she had to go to jail in Mexico because she was trying to cross the Mexican border to Texas, and she got caught. And so having to be returned back to El Salvador and start all over was just a whole lot of challenges that she had to face. Nonetheless, she went through with them because she's here now. Additionally, I highlight some of the challenges or experiences that they encounter while being in Columbia Heights. Gun violence, drug exposure, and all sorts of craziness. If you're from DC, then you know. And so I talk about that and how different it may be and how different it was for them compared to a rural farm-like area in El Salvador. So that was also a big change for them. And I wrote about what they told me of what they experienced dealing with those kind of situations in Columbia Heights. So I also talk about how they feel about living in here for so long, and I feel like that's also important because they are immigrants from El Salvador, but they're also extremely important to the community. They, for one, pay taxes. Their clinics are in the community. Like, everything in their lives is there in this community that they now call home. And those are just one of the things that I feel are super important to talk about and share with others, because there are too many stereotypes around. And I hope that with this project I can share a little bit more about the personal struggles and how their life is like in DC compared to what they had known their whole lives. I appreciate anyone who watches this video. I hope you understand why I picked it and why it means so much to me. But thank you for watching, and stay safe.